Alright, so today I'm going to be doing my bracket predictions. Let's get to it. We have all of these teams, and now you're going to be my predictions. So, I think, first off, honestly, I think all 1 seeds are going to win. I think I'm truly going to be looking at this at a perspective of we'll just go down the seeding list. So, we'll go 1 through 8. Next up are going to be the 2 seeds. You got UConn versus Furman. UConn, they had a bad finish to end that season, but I feel like you just look at some. I'm going to say you you have to look at the most recent games because that shows the following trend. Now, if a few more people are picking Furman right now, but UConn is favored, and they can average points. They beat a team by an average of 6 points a game, while UConn beats them by 12. I think UConn gets that one. Houston versus Idaho. I don't want to count out Idaho here. A lot of losses for Houston in here. They lost to Zona. They destroyed Kansas. Kansas is probably one of the most inconsistent teams in basketball, as much as I love them. Houston, obviously, probably known as one of the best defensive teams in the country, with 63 points per game. They only allow 63 points per game. They basically beat teams by 14. They're 5-6 though against teams in the top 25. Idaho was not that good in conference. They haven't really played anybody that we can know. They put up a fight against Notre Dame, but Notre Dame's not even good. They got destroyed, but I think the most recent one that we can look at is Montana State, who they beat. Montana State's not in the tournament. They beat them barely. They rely on their three-point shot. And the thing is, I think Houston actually guards the three-point shot pretty dang well. They force turnovers. They're really good. I do think that they just guard better, a lot better, even with the 6 losses that they have. Next one, Purdue and Queens. Queens could be a really fun upset because Purdue is known to lose to big-time schools. They are statistically always a team to look for an upset. They did make it to the national title. That was that. And I think Braden Smith, it's basically just, I don't know if Queens has come to prepared with what a guy was like, because this is their first year D1, but the thing is with Queens, though, I truly don't think they have experience playing a guy who is like Braden Smith, and Braden Smith is something not a lot of people have seen. He is a good player, and for that reason, I'm just going to have to take Purdue. And then Iowa State versus Tennessee State. I actually think right here, this is probably the most likely that we'll be able to see out of an upset. This is going to be very good for each team to travel. Tennessee State and Iowa State, this is a pretty close matchup. It's in St. Louis. I know there's going to be a lot of Iowa State fans. This is mainly about the guard play, and I think they have the shooter that they need. They have that defensive guard. They have that offensive engine and defensive guy in Joshua Jefferson. What I am liking right now, though, is Tennessee State can score. Iowa State usually destroys their opponents. Yeah, they aren't special defensively, and if you're averaging 81 points per game, I think something right here is just going to have to tell you. They do force turnovers at a high rate. Yeah. And I also think Iowa State, I've seen the press that they run. It is annoying. It is a hard, if you are not a good team that can break presses, you cannot, the problem is you're not going to be able to win. If Tennessee State's going to have to handle, I think I think they're going to have to handle such a good press, good defense, and it really also comes down to, I think Otzelberger's 100% better coach. Now we're going to go into these 3 seeds, and I'm really trying to keep in my mind here now, like, since we're now into, like, NIL era, some of the seeding is a lot different. You're not going to see as much here. But now let's look at these 3 seeds. So, Michigan State got bumped down. They've allowed 90 and 88 in the past couple of these games, and that's not something that you normally see. If you're going to see, I think with Michigan State is they're going to have to keep North Dakota State down on points, and North Dakota State actually scores. They score pretty dang well. They were really good in conference. They grab offensive rebounds well. They do not commit a lot of fouls, so that is a good thing for them if it ever gets tight and they don't want to be, like, getting big fouls. They're going to be able to, I don't know what you could say. They won't be, like, committing those fouls where they're already shooting with, like, 5 minutes left to go in the half. Tom Izzo is nothing special to this, though. So, like, Michigan State, nothing is special to what they have. They have a good coach. They have a really good passing attack. They have guys who get the rebounds. I think this mainly depends on who's going to be able to get those boards. And I think the thing is here, as much as I like North Dakota State, they have this stuff. Like, if you look at it, they truly have stuff that they need in order to go on a run. But, like, you look at going at St. Thomas, Minnesota Tommies, truly not a school that much people know, and you lose by 22. It's going to be very hard to make you think that you can go into, and that's your most recent game that's on here too, the 26th of February, which is actually kind of a little bit of a farther time away, but if you can't compete, like, if you cannot compete with the St. Thomas, Minnesota Tommies like that, you're not going to compete with Michigan State. I'm just going to tell you that right there. That is Tom Izzo right there. That's going to be hard. Now we have my favorite team's former coach and his team. Hold on. We'll have to basically sit down for this. Okay, we are back. That's what we are. So we are back. We've got Illinois, Penn. Penn, I'm actually also surprised they are not a 15 seed. They only played 29 games this year, which is kind of surprising. Illinois just has a crap ton of foreign guys, but they actually also like beat a lot of teams, and they beat them well. They cannot compete with Michigan, though. That was something. But I also think that this is probably something right here. Like, look at like they beat Yale, though. Yale is a pretty big win, but that's they competed really well. But that's not a team that pairs up with Illinois, and I do expect most of these teams to basically fight their hearts out and play as hard as they ever can, but I also don't expect them to. We're into an era right now where I can't expect much out of much lower seeds like this anymore to truly pull off an upset. It's really about the tournament runs that the mid seeds make, rather than these lower seeds pulling off the upset. So I gotta go with Illinois. Then we have Gonzaga, Kennesaw State. I'm a big Zags fan. They lost to St. Mary's, but they did beat Santa Clara in the final. I think the difference is, though, they had a really dumb loss to Portland. I remember that. There was a stupid loss that we had to, like, a terrible school in Portland. So Gonzaga can lose to anybody. But the thing is, though, Gonzaga plays like they're still a really good coach team, really good team. It's just, like, in conference play, Gonzaga, like, that's just a whole different ball game over there. It's a lot different than just Gonzaga going and playing Kennesaw State. Like, Gonzaga playing Santa Clara, those are two teams that always match up and they go head to head. It's unlike the other stuff. And I think that's where, like, well, you've seen they've been on a run. You know, they actually beat Sam Houston, but right here, like, look, 3 seeds are 30-2. 14 seed upsets don't happen. And I think for that reason, I'm picking Gonzaga. And then in our last one, we have Virginia versus Wright State. You know, I do actually like Wright State. Wright State's actually really fun. They beat their most recent stuff that they've talked about is playing Oakland in, like, January 11th. We know that they won their conference, but yeah, we don't know much of anything else. I also don't think, though, that when Virginia has to come head-to-head with, like, these great schools, they're going to be able to play them. But they do have... We are going to be seeing them playing for the next round, in my opinion. Now we got to go up to the 4 seeds. Kansas versus Cal Baptist. I love Kansas. Kansas is my second favorite team, and I love Kansas. I think a problem here is, though, look how inconsistent they are. They beat Arizona at home. They go on the road and they lose by 23. You see, they beat Iowa State by 21 at home. They go on the road and they lose by 18. They play Houston at home, beat them by 13, and then they lose by 22 in Kansas City. They are just inconsistent, but I don't think they're a school that would just lose to somebody like Cal Baptist. And I'm not calling Cal Baptist a dumb team. Like, I also love Cal Baptist. I'm just saying Cal Baptist well, obviously they're going to have some sort of fight. It's their first ever time they've put in. They're probably going to play their hardest. Kansas has been here basically just like every single year. I think the problem is they have to rely on Darren Peterson to make shots. When they lost by 10 to Arizona State, when they were getting mauled by Arizona State there, Darren Peterson shot so poorly, so you're going to have to rely on your star guy and Peterson to be able to score the basketball, and you're going to have to be able to hope that a guy like Badunga can attack Cal Baptist well enough, because Cal Baptist actually has some stuff on it here. They lost to BYU by 30. That was in December, though, on the road. I think what you got to look at right here is conference tournament. I mean, they beat Utah Valley, which ain't big, ain't much. But I'm gonna have to say that this one's gonna belong to Kansas. Our next one is Nebraska versus Troy. I know not a lot of people are truly looking at, not a lot of people are truly looking at Troy here. But I think they need to, because you gotta look at all of this. Look at all these close losses. There's not like one big loss. All of these games are close. They score a lot of points. We can see in here they scored in a crazy amount of overtimes against San Diego State and USC. 108 and 106. They almost beat USC. And USC probably should have been in the tournament. If not, it was for them just falling off a cliff. That was poor. Same with Indiana. Indiana and SC could have both been tournament teams, but they just fell off cliffs. Not a lot of people see Troy, but remember, Nebraska has never won a tournament game in their life before. They are truly going to want that. They have a great leader. I hate Nebraska, but they've got good leaders. They've got Price Sanford. They got the masked kid. They've got Hoiberg, who's much loved over there, but I think they're kind of on a downtrend right now, while Troy's really going up. If we look at there, he averages a double-double and he hits threes. He actually hits 2 threes a game. So big men hitting threes, that's going to be huge for them. But the thing is, Nebraska lives and dies off of the three. If they are not into a rhythm, if they cannot shoot the ball, it's not going to be going for them. Now, they are kind of just on a trend like Iowa was earlier in the season, where they could not beat these really good teams, but they could beat the other teams. They could beat the unranked guys. They could beat the 8 seed guys, the 9 seed guys, the 7 seed guys. They cannot beat a ranked team to save their life. I think that's kind of some of the trend that Nebraska is going on to. And I'm going to say for that reason, I think what's going to happen. Now, obviously, this is in Oklahoma, but I think that's close to both states, because Troy is in Alabama, and Alabama is pretty dang close to Texas. I mean, not Texas, Oklahoma. It's a little bit farther, yeah, because you got to go through, Arkansas and Louisiana and that stuff, but I actually am going to say here Troy's going to get the upset, and the reason why is I think Troy has the guy with Thomas Dowd. If he can hit 2 3-pointers, if he's hitting 2 3-pointers a game and he's 6'8", he's also getting in there, getting the boards, and he's scoring points. I think that's going to be something that I don't know if they're going to be able to stop, but you've got to be able to be hot and ready. And I don't know if Nebraska comes into that game hot and ready. So I'm going to pick Troy here. That's probably going to be my highest upset in the first round. Arkansas and Hawaii, this is a different story. Arkansas just won their conference. Well, obviously, same with Hawaii, but Arkansas just won a very crazy SEC tournament. We were truly thinking over here, maybe, actually Ole Miss was super close to, but we were thinking over here possibly we could be seeing Ole Miss in the tournament. Now, I bet you, I know all of us wanted that. Imagine flipping like they would have been like 16 and 18. Ole Miss got into the tournament, like a Power 5 school that had to be in because they won their conference. That would have been so weird where they would put them because they were like in no bracket contentions, none of that, none of this. In my opinion, though, Arkansas has a guard. And I've learned from a lot of stuff, you just need a guard, you just need a dream. And you need a well-put enough team around them where they can go on a run. And I actually think Arkansas has that right there. I'm gonna go with Arkansas here. I think Arkansas has got everything that they need. They score points, too. It is a high-scoring battle whenever they face. Look at some of this. They played Alabama to 117 to 115. They lost at Florida, though, by 34. It was like 34, which is an insane amount. But look at some of these wins. They destroyed Vanderbilt. They beat Tennessee and Louisville, looks like pretty handily. Lost to Duke by 9, lost to Houston by 9, lost to Alabama by 2, and then they got pounced by Florida. But right here, this is going to be for Arkansas. That's going to be who I pick. And then our next 4 seed is going to be Alabama and Hofstra. Alabama, they're always getting them. They're always getting a win. They just beat Tennessee by 2. I know there's a little bit of a cold stretch for them because they were actually ranked pretty high during the season, but there was a cold stretch for them. They do also score 91.7 points per game. They are scoring 92 points a game. It says they've been shooting over 40% from distance, and 5 players cashing in with over 45 trays on the season. Defensively, they don't force them into turnovers, and they basically just get these defensive rebounds with their big guys. Hofstra, on the other hand, they actually I think some of this stuff, they actually handled out pretty well. They beat, here's something big, they beat Pitt and they beat Syracuse. Though those are not good teams, you always look at some of those wins like from a school like Hofstra that beat a Power 5 school. Like that's just something. That's always something. They have had a few losses. But look at all of these. None of these that show up are like big time losses. Most of these are straight on 4-point. They lost by 4 to UCF. That was a long time ago, but you never overlook that because they definitely came in with the fight. Hofstra could be the team that nobody sees coming. That's what I'm going to say. Hofstra is going to be the team that nobody sees coming. But I'm still, that possibly nobody sees coming. I'm still going to pick Alabama, but you need to watch out for Hofstra on your bracket. Hofstra is a team that could win. They could for sure win something. And Alabama just came off of a loss to Ole Miss. So I'm going to pick Alabama here, but don't be surprised with Hofstra, though. I'm just going to say that. Next up, we have our 5 seed, 12 seed. Now, initially, actually, I had UNI winning, and UNI's been on a hot run. Like, they've been doing darn good, but But I think some of these, like, they also again right here, this is just showing that they are going to be playing teams close. Like, they go on the road at St. Mary's, which is all the way, I'm pretty sure, like, in California. And they play their best basketball. St. John's, they are on a heater, though. They destroy 8-seed Villanova. They just won their conference tournament against UConn by a mile. They have a lot of stuff. UNI, they are also a tough, well put together team, but also I think something right here. These schools are, I mean, I don't think it will truly affect them, but 6:10 p.m., but it is all the way across the country for St. John's and like halfway across the country for UNI, which actually the high school in there just won the state championship for Cedar Falls. But I think I would also watch out for UNI. Hofstra, UNI, and Troy are on my watch list for upsets. I think Hofstra and UNI are the upsets that I did not choose, but they could be upsets. They certainly could happen. Our next 5-12 game is Vanderbilt versus McNeese. We all know about the McNeese DJ guy. He's pretty fun. They actually only have 5 losses, which is pretty crazy. They only have 5 losses on the season. Vanderbilt only has 8. They got destroyed by Michigan. They lost to Santa Clara by 12. They lost to Stephen A. by 3 on the road. So it's mainly they've just lost some of these games on the road. But it's always hard to win on the road. That Vanderbilt lost their conference tournament championship by 11. Most of these on here are actually dubs. But they all are basically close losses besides that SEC championship. They are truly looked at to win this game, and I am honestly, I mean, McNeese could win. They actually beat their opponents by a good amount too. Like, they play really good ball, but Vanderbilt averages a lot of points. I'm going to take Vanderbilt here, even though I think last year McNeese got the upset. You know, they got that big old upset when I think Vanderbilt can do it this year. I'm going to be taking Vanderbilt, but you always got to watch out for a team like McNeese. Always got to, because they're always like an underlooked potential upset team in a March Madness. Next up, we got 12-seed High Point, who is 30-4 against 5-seed Wisconsin, who is 24-10, but they just got some crazy wins and crazy losses. Oh my gosh, dude. Holy crap.